Was a defensive ball game right from the get-go, and they played really tough and gave us a hard time all day long. We had trouble scoring, moving the football, and we were giving them trouble scoring and moving the football as well. And it's just an uncharacteristic type of feeling that we're not putting any points on the board. And that 5 points just didn't hang very well. One score and you're out. You're out of the lead. And I was really surprised that we weren't able to slow them down in the third quarter running the football. They ran some basic stuff, and they got away from us. And those two drives in there, they were able to get enough going where that was the difference in the ball game. Offensively, we had trouble all day long, and give them credit. They've been playing really good ball, but I need to look at the film and see what the heck happened, why it was like that so much so. But games are hard, games are tough, and we can't let this thing knock us off getting going and moving forward. And it's really important we get right back to business again, and it's the only choice we have, really, so that's what we'll do.
A.J. McCord.
Coach, you said it was uncharacteristic type of feel out there today. What exactly was uncharacteristic? Just the offense, Russ's play? What? Maybe be more specific.
Yeah, we didn't move the ball. We weren't making plays to change the field position. We didn't chunk them at all. We actually ran the ball pretty well early, but throwing the ball was a struggle. We took some just monster losses in the sacks, that just take you out. The whole drive is just totally challenged from there on. And because they weren't like 6 or 8 yard sacks, they were like 20s. And so unfortunately, all of those situations just kept us from getting any momentum at all, and we never got moving. It just doesn't like that. That's not, none of us have seen us play like that, and so it was really, very difficult.
Michael Sean Dugar.
Hey, Pete, how much of the passing game struggles today would you say was on Russ?
Well, he's in the middle of it all, and there was I needed to look at the protection and see how long we were hanging on to the ball. It felt like he was taking a good look down the field, like we weren't immediately rushed, and so we'll see. I need to talk to Russ. I haven't even visited with him at all yet about it. We'll talk about it.
Thanks.
Chris Francis.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the run game. I think Carson had a 5 yard average, but only 13 carries. Why so few carries for Carson, and then how much of a factor was it that you couldn't run the ball when you wanted to?
Yeah, well, we really went into the game hoping to mix between he and Carlos, because both guys are, just barely getting back and feeling right. We weren't going to load up anybody. Really, that didn't really come to light until we made it through the whole week and got all the way to the weekend here. We're hoping the guys would improve, but they both, played a little sore from the first week, from last week, and so really, that's the way I thought it would turn out. We would mix those two guys, not go one heavy on one guy or the other.
Art Teal.
Pete, you had a couple of fourth down decisions that didn't work. Can you explain why you decided to punt and you had the Giants 37, and then the decision to roll Russell out on that fourth down play for a pass? Yeah, that was at the end of the distance that we wanted to kick was beyond it, and so that's just kind of every game. You have a marker in each direction which way where you're going to kick it and where you aren't. It was beyond it, so I was happy punting the ball or putting the ball in deep and not in playing that kind of style at the time rather than try a monster field goal. And then we didn't, we didn't make it. They did a nice job of stopping the fourth down call. We put Russ out on the edge, and he had 3 big options there, and as well as run, and they did a nice job of defending it.
Brady Henderson.
Did you see anything amiss with the energy or the focus that you guys came out with today? Was there anything amiss there?
No. Not at all. That was not. That didn't feel like part of any of it. We didn't execute against them, and we weren't able to move the ball like we wanted to. That's what happened.
John Boyle.
Pete, your guys' run defense has been pretty good all year. Did you see anything in particular in the third quarter that stood out other than obviously the long one? Yeah,
the big run. We hit a pressure that didn't catch up with the play. It was unfortunate. It was just a one-time call, and they hit it against it. And then we were just a little out of whack, making the tackles and knocking them back and doing the things that we normally do. And there was just a space and time in there where they were able to run the football away. It wasn't in the first half, and it happened in the third quarter, and then we slowed it down after that. So we just weren't clicking. And as they shifted gears, you could see it where they weren't even thinking about mixing. They just wanted to see if they could run it and try to play the game that way, and it worked out for them. And they kind of gained control of the game by doing that. It was a nice job by them.
Bob Condotta.
Tyler took the big hit early in the game. Did that impact him at all? Obviously, he came back, and all right, was he okay the rest of the way? Or?
Yeah. They cleared him, so he was all right.
Did you, and just your receiver play in general, and they obviously put a guy on DK today. Did you feel like they were getting open, or?
Yeah, we had some chances. I need to look at the film. They did a nice job of adjusting and changing the way that they played their coverages, and they made it very multiple within the structure, and it gave us some problems, and so we just have to handle it better. We didn't handle it as well as we thought we would.
Joe Fan.
Pete, there's been a number of occasions this year where Russ has looked out of character. He had that out of character run earlier. Today, another game where he didn't have the normal swagger, production, decision-making, confidence. All of that just was off. I guess my question is, how concerned are you about where he's at right now in his play?
I'm going to look at this game and break it down and figure it out, talk to Russ, talk to Shadi, and get to the essence of it. I'm not going to just throw out some thought right now, randomly. I'm really surprised that this is how we looked against this, this game plan that they had. I thought we could do a lot of stuff, and it just didn't happen for us. I need to see why and really break it down. I can't tell you right now.
And then there was the decision to call timeout on their field goal attempt. Did you guys have 12 men on the field, or what was the decision there?
We were uncertain if we had numbers right there, and we didn't want to screw it up.
Is that kind of indicative of how the game went for you guys?
No, just that situation.
Greg Bell.
Pete, 2 games in a row now on fourth down. Why so soft? Is Chris Carson fully healthy? Why not just plunge him in there 1 yard?
Well, it's easy to say now. Stuff works sometimes it doesn't. This is what you get to say when you don't make it on fourth down, and you get to ask the questions. I wish we would have made it too, and there's different ways to do it, and those, we wanted the ball in Russ's hands to give him a chance there. He had all kinds of options, and that didn't work on one of them.
Chris, is Carson fully healthy? Or are you still working?
He's making it. He's making it to the game is what he's doing right now. His foot is still sore, but he can play, and so you can see he looked good, but it's just not 100%. And so we're trying to not overload him. We got a lot of games left, and just trying to make sure that he can play and contribute, which is what he's doing. And I thought they handled that pretty well. But we're not. He's not to the point where we can just let him stay out there and keep on going and let's run him 25, 30 times and see what happens. So we're still trying to bring him along.
Curtis Crabtree.
Yeah, Pete, with Cedric getting hurt on Friday, how big a wrench did that throw into everything with DeMarco having to go to tackle and then Wheeler having to play? Just how big of a problem was that for you guys to handle, and how do you think they kind of managed their way through that?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell you about JaMarco's play, but JaMarco's been around a lot with us, and he's played a lot of different stuff, and he has the kind of versatility he can jump in and do that. But it was in a walkthrough and something. Cedric tweaked something, and so it was very late in the week, so we didn't have any time to prepare for it for JaMarco. I can't tell you how we played yet, but. So it's that's an issue. It's a problem. And then JaMarco pulled his groin a little bit or something in there, and when he came out, Chad Wheeler had to go in and play, and Chad battled his tail off to try to help us.
Jackie Montgomery.
Hey, Coach, one bright spot, just special teams. Can you speak to Michael Dixon, his performance, and then the blocked punt that led to the safety?
Yeah, these guys continue to really play well, and they gave us an opportunity. We went after it. A great execution by the whole group to get that done, because that's never just one guy. Just unfortunately, we didn't get the touchdown there, which we had a shot at it. Would have made a big difference in this game at the time. but it was still terrific play. And the special teams has played really well consistently in all phases. And Mike's kicking it, and Jason's kicking it, and they're doing a great job for us. So again, I think that's a real constant for us.
And last question for Coach, AJ.
So you mentioned the game plan. You're surprised that the offense didn't get the momentum based on the game plan. What were the aspects that fell short today that you didn't think were going to?
Well, we're continuing